Good day everyone, today we'll be discussing the histology of the reproductive system. So reproduction, fertilization is a process that involves the union of a male and female gametes. So we have the male reproductive system and the female reproductive system. So the female reproductive system is responsible for the gametogenesis. So this is a picture of the egg and sperm. So what are the functions of the female reproductive system? First, production of female sex cells, reception of sperm cells from the male, and nurturing the development and providing nourishment to new offsprings. And lastly, production of female sex hormones. So the menstrual cycle, the average of it is 28 days. So reproductive life of female starts at puberty and is heralded by the menarche at ends at menopause. So oogenesis. Begins before birth and accelerates at puberty and ends at menopause. So between the third and seventh month of fetal development, nag-undergo na ng meiosis. So this proceed to prophase 1, then stop until puberty when the follicular stimulating hormones triggers the start of ovarian cycle. So female sa simula, meron silang 2 million primordial follicles pero bumababa into 400,000 pag nag-reach na ng puberty. So yung degeneration of follicles, ang tawag dun ay atresia. So yung ovarian cycle, a primary oocyte and its follicle cells form a primordial follicle. So at the beginning ng puberty, yung follicles na yon will either mature and release secondary oocytes or degenerate. So, yung cycle, it is divided into follicular phase and luteal phase. So, yung follicular is the pre-ovulatory and the luteal is the post-ovulatory. So, formation ng primary follicles tapos secondary follicles. Formation of tertiary follicles in 8 to 10 days, the ovaries generally contain only one secondary follicle destined for further development. So, around sa 10 to 14 day, yung tertiary follicle, nagiging siyang tertiary follicle or nagmamature. So, di ba parang sinasabi yung 14th day daw, yun yung time na doon nag-ovulate yung mga babae. So, oocytes projects into antrum surrounded by mass of granulosa cells. So, continues until metaphase 2 tapos stop. So, ovulation is the step 4. So, yung tertiary follicle releases secondary oocytes and polar bodies. So, yung LH or the luteinizing hormones stimulation causes ovulation and formation. So, yung progesterone naman is manufactured which prepares the uterus for pregnancy. Tapos, pag walang pregnancy, magigilang siyang white body or corpus albicans tapos magsisimula na ulit yung cycle. So, yan yung itsura. So, we have the follicular and the luteal phase. Yung sa gitna, mga 14th day, dun yung pinaka-ovulated na yung babae. So, we have the female reproductive system. We have the external and internal genitalia. So, ano yung included sa external genitalia? So, yung external genitalia is also termed as vulva, meaning wrapper or covering, or pudendum. So, ano yung mga included doon? We have vestibule, space into which the urethra and vagina open. We have the labia minora and labia majora. We also have the pudendal cleft. It is the space between the labia majora. So, yan yung picture. We have the labia majora, labia minora. We have the vestibule, pudendal cleft. We have the vagina, urethra, clitoris, prepuce, and mons pubis. So in continuation, we have the clitoris, a small erectile structure homologous to the penis. So we have the prepuce, it is a fold of skin above the clitoris formed by the union of two labia minora. So we also have clinical perineum, it is the region between the vagina and the anus. So we have the internal genitalia, we have the ovaries, oviducts, or the fallopian tube, uterus, the vagina. So the ovaries is a paired ovoid organs Made up of simple squamous or cuboidal epithelium. It is the site of oogenesis and it also produces the hormones. So the germinal epithelium, it is the one that envelops the ovary. Then the tunica albuginea is the layer of dense irregular connective tissues which forms capsule. So sa ovaries we have the cortex and the medulla. The cortex is the thick peripheral portion and the medulla is the inner vascular zone. So oviducts or the fallopian tubes, it is a paired muscular tubes that serves as passageway for the ovum on its way to the uterus. So it has four segments. Ano yung four segments na yun? We have infundibulum, ampulla, isthmus, and pars interstitialis. So anong mahalagang tandaan dyan? Yung infundibulum, it is a funnel shape with numerous processes called fimbriae. Tapos yung sa isthmus is a narrow and slender part that connects the fallopian tube to the uterus. So what are the histologic layers of the oviducts or the fallopian tube? We have the mucosa, muscularis, and serosa. So sa mucosa, meron siyang ciliated cells para saan it is used to help transport the ovum and peg cells. So what are the effects of ovarian hormones on the oviducts? So yung estrogen, yung mga ciliated cells nag-increase in number and height. Tapos yung progesterone naman favors loss of cilia and decreases in secretory activity of the epithelial cells. So yung uterus naman, it is a pear-shaped hollow organ. So it receives the embryo and nurtures it throughout its development. So merong two parts yun. We have the body and the cervix. Yung body also known as the corpus uteri or the cavity or the uterine cavity. Yung cervix naman is the inferior segment of the uterus. So ito yung uterus, nandyan. So what are the histologic layers of the corpus uteri? We have the endometrium, myometrium, and the perimetrium or the serosa. So the perimetrium is the um, outermost layer. So other term for perimetrium is epimetrium. So the endometrium, ano yung tissue type na nagme-made up sa kanya or nandun sa kanya? We have the ciliated simple columnar epithelium. So the myometrium is the thickest layer and it's made up of smooth muscle fibers, which increases during pregnancy and decreases during menstruation. So the vagina naman is the fibromuscular tube. So the epithelial surface kept it moist by secretions from cervical and endometrial glands. So what are the layers of the vaginal wall? We have mucosa muscularis and adventitia. So sa mucosa niya, meron dong mga skin folds or thin skin folds called rugae. So the mammary gland, it is also included in the female reproductive system. It is considered as a modified sweat glands. So yung nipple, it is surrounded by areola. Tapos, meron ditong large apocrine sweat glands na ang term is areola glands of Montgomery. So we have the nipple, areola, tapos meron siya mga mammary ligaments sa loob. So we have inactive mammary gland in pregnancy, lactating mammary gland, and mammary gland after weaning and menopause. So implantation, ano yung implantation? Interstitial implantation is a complete embedding of the embryo within the endometrium. Ang placentation naman of the fetal and maternal origin but more of the former for delivery of nutrients and oxygen. So the placenta develops during pregnancy. Anong shape niya? Shapes like a pancake or discoid. Ano pa yung discoid? Di ba ang RBCs, tinoterm din siya as discoid cells, is in the elimination of waste by the fetus and it is also considered as an endocrine organ. So what are the histology of the placenta? We have partitioned into 15 to 20 parts, cotyledons, tapos loose connective tissues, meron ding cytotrophoblast and syncytiotrophoblasts. So what are the placental hormones? We have the HCG or the human chorionic gonadotropin. We have the progesterone, estrogen, prolactin, and human placental lactogen.